All right. We're fucking back. We haven't done one of these in a long time, but we felt it
Too
was
long.
necessary. Get back on here, chat about fantasy a little bit. League is in a place where I think, usually by this time you're like, all right, here are the clear dogs. Here are the favorites. Here are the shittiest teams in the league. Right now, this is one of the more wide open leagues and years that we've had in a long time. So, felt necessary to come on here, talk about it. Hopefully, you guys listen to the four, five, six of you guys that listen. We love
I
you.
was gonna say at least 5 plays. Very
We're
important.
happy. We're
Important
happy. And
content that everybody needs.
I was talking to my good buddy Evan Shaheen. We were playing a college football dynasty just now,
Mm.
and he was like, do people listen to it? And I'm like, I mean, not a lot. And he was like, so like, if nobody listened to it, would you still do it? And I'm like, fuck yeah. Talk about fantasy? Are you serious? Absolutely. I do this anyways. You know what I mean? Like, let's just record it. Give it to the league. Give it to the four people that are strolling into work at 8 a.m. tomorrow on a Thursday morning. Give them something to listen to. So that's why we do it.
You make fair points. What better are
Yeah.
you gonna listen to on the way into work than Josh and I shooting the shit about fantasy football?
Right. I mean, we're gonna break down your team. So, why not get an expert analysis on your way to work about where your team's at 6 games into the season? Um,
We're
so
basically
Parker,
like the Josh Pate show of our fantasy football league.
um, do you like the Manning cast? I don't know why it just popped into my head.
Well, I've come to enjoy it because Streamy has chosen the Manning cast moving forward as the stream that they play, and so therefore I don't really have a choice. A big Stream East guy.
Yeah, no, me too. But I really do enjoy the Manning cast. Like they give you
I like
actual analysis.
Belichick is like low key pretty funny. Like
Yeah,
actually, it's pretty funny.
yeah. I liked Rex Ryan on there. It to me it feels like when there was the whole fascination of like Romo predicting plays 3 years ago on the broadcast, it's almost like a full game's worth of that. It's like you just get like these genius football minds that are all together and they're really serious about the game, like that's happening at the moment.
Oh,
Sometimes, like if it's
Peyton gets angry. He gets
that's what
he
I'm
gets
saying.
pissed.
Yeah, it's like personal if
He
there's
can't
like a bad play
stand
call. Yeah,
bad quarterback.
yeah, and I love that. So I usually flip back and forth between the broadcasts. Like I'll start on the normal broadcast and I'll go over to the Manning cast when things start to get like intense. Um, but I might just go full
Yeah,
Manning cast from now on. Um, okay, well, enough about the Manning
can't go
cast.
wrong with that.
Parker's got some headlines that we're gonna kick this thing off with. What are the headlines through 6 weeks?
This is just off the cuff on the way home from work. This kind of, you know, we didn't exactly plan for the pod, so I'm just
Not at
thinking
all.
off top of my head, highlights of the league to this point. Obviously, you start top and bottom. Dylan 6-0,
Mm-hmm.
Joey 0-6. I
Mm-hmm.
will say Joey's getting hammered in the points against. Hammered. He's got like 50 more points against than anybody else. Uh,
Factually correct.
it's been a tough year for the 27s, but if he keeps making trades with Borman, I'm sure his team will be fine by the end of the year. Uh,
Wait, wait, wait,
uh,
wait, 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 wait. Before you go any further,
yep.
who won that trade? I mean, he gets Terry McLaurin, Borman gets Brian Robinson. Who wins that trade?
Oh, well, that trade was with Trace, was it not?
No, I thought it was with Borman. Was
Well,
it?
it
Am I
was with
wrong?
Borman and Trace, not
Borman and Trace.
Joey.
Sorry, Borman
Yeah,
and Trace. Yes, yeah. Who?
yeah.
Well, okay. So let me backtrack. Who wins that trade?
So Borman gets another back. He needed another back.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's honestly they're similar guys. I mean, they're literally just they're skill players on the same team on a good offense. I don't think that that's a trade that's going to go heavy one way or another. It's not trading debatably the best quarterback in the league. It's not that. Which
You're right. You're
yeah,
right. I do think Borman wins that trade just because he already had a plethora of wide receivers that he just wasn't going to play. So he ends up getting Brian Robinson out of it. That's a good move for Borman.
No, 100%. I think that it makes more of an impact for Borman's team. I just don't think that it's like one person's getting screwed over in value.
No, I agree.
Two good players.
Yeah.
Two good
Okay, so
players
we
making
got Dylan 6-0. I would love to see how many other teams have started 6-0 in league history. I'm not sure. That's a tough feat and it's an impressive feat.
it is.
Um, and it's not it doesn't feel fluky. He's putting up a good amount. I think he's second in the league in points for. He
I play
is,
against him this week. He's projected like 109 points.
yeah, and I mean, he's third. There have been the third least amount of points scored against him, but like, that happens, and as long as you're towards the top in points for, like that's not fluky. So 6-0 for Dylan, 0-6 for Joey, and like you said, he has had the most points scored against him. Um, and in terms of, well, again, in the same vein, Joey also does have the least amount of points in the league scored. So
Sure.
just there was always regression coming for Joey. It just he's kind of going as the Patriots go, right? The Patriots had their run, and now they're kind of in the dumps, and so is Joey. So he's preparing for 2025 already, I would assume.
I don't know. You say that, but realistically, there's a lot of teams that what 2-3, 2-4, and 3-3. I mean, realistically, it's
Yeah.
2-3 weeks
No,
away
you're
from
right.
being right in the mix. I mean,
You
it's
you
too
are,
early
yeah.
to say he's out of it.
You're right. And Jamar Chase is hitting his stride. Devontae Adams just gets traded to the Jets, reunites with old Aaron Rodgers. He
Mari
gets
Cooper
Josh
just went to
Allen.
Josh Allen.
Yeah. And Josh Jacobs has been good. I'm
It's
waiting for
he's not.
Laporta to get
I think
involved.
he's
Laporta
better
was
than an
supposed to be
0
good.
6 team. I think
Yeah, I
he.
agree. I agree.
If you just look at it on paper, you don't look at the standings, you don't look at the points for. I think that you're like that's a pretty solid team. You're not like that's the best team I've ever seen, but you're
Yeah.
like, it's a solid team.
It could be a 7 or 8 seed in the playoffs. Okay. All right.
And
Oh, you're lagging out, brother. You're lagging out.
oh no,
Okay, you're good. You're good. You're good. All right.
I'm in a parking garage.
Jesus. Okay. What other headlines you got for us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear
I
me?
think that what I've been hinting at, I can. You said I was cutting out. I just wanted to double check. Pardon me.
You're
Pardon me.
pardoned.
I think that
Pardoned.
the Borman trade is a big one. I think that
For
that's a
who?
big one. I think Borman had a solid. I think that Borman had a competitive roster. I think that that pick of Josh Allen, where we were kind of clowning it night of, has honestly kind of panned out. He's had multiple weeks of 30 points. I mean,
Hmm.
I, I think Borman had a chance. I think Borman has a tendency to make some trades he doesn't necessarily need at times. Borman's a pretty solid drafter, but he always over trades, in
Hmm.
my opinion. In my
I
opinion.
I agree. I agree. I agree. He's an active owner. I'll put it that way. He wants to make shit just shake. He wants to move things, and you can't just sit there. He's not a patient owner.
You can't
Um,
hate on him for trying. I just think sometimes he needs to believe in his guys a little bit more.
yeah, and I do commend him for making the move that he made today. That's a good move. Like you have a bunch of receivers. I think he had 5 receivers that were playable: Zay Flowers, AJ Brown, Tank Dell, McLaurin, Michael Pittman. Like he had a bunch of guys who could play. So why not flip one of those for the RB11 on the season? That's an RB1. So I think that was a great move for him. So yeah, I mean, Borman's in a good spot, sitting at 2-4. He's in the playoffs, but it's a good competitive roster. Um, the trade for Josh Allen didn't make a lot of sense, and getting Dak Prescott, it was like, all right, he got AJ Brown out of the trade, right? Yeah, he got AJ Brown out of the trade. Um,
He did.
yeah,
He did.
yeah, yeah. I mean, really, it was Josh Allen. No, he didn't. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Wait, so who do you? Okay, yeah. Honestly, we might
I
have to
believe
relook at.
Pollard
We might have to
he
look
left
at this
there.
again.
No, was Pollard in that trade?
No, Pollard's on my team.
Oh,
It was so Joey traded AJ Brown, Rico Dowdle, and Dak Prescott.
Rico
Bo-
Dowdle.
Borman traded Jerry Judy, who's pretty much a wash, Josh Allen, and Josh Jacobs. It's honestly not it's kind of a fair trade. I mean, all things, yeah. I actually don't think it's that crazy of a trade. Just the moving Josh Allen, um,
Oh,
and depending on Dak Prescott, when I know he had a nice week like 2 3 weeks ago, but it was really in just like garbage time against the Ravens. Um, they don't have that's not like a really good offense. Like they don't have like a wide receiver two. Uh, they don't have a running game. Like I think you can expect like, oh, it's Dak, like the Cowboys offense is gonna be really effective and he's gonna score a lot of points, but it's just not a good offense this year. I will say he does have Kirk Cousins.
but
And
that's where I'm more so say, like Bourne had, like you said, he has five playable receivers, so you
yeah,
can
yeah,
justify having the luxury of having a elite quarterback. You don't have to trade
yeah,
those, like you don't have to move for the rest of the roster as much. Like especially now with Brian Robinson. Brian Robinson's a solid dude. He's
yeah,
gonna week in, week out be projected 10, 11 points, get you right on that every week.
yeah.
Some
So
weeks score two touchdowns, and you're like, oh. One other headline, I think that it's been the most accurate I can remember waiver wire wise. I feel like
mm,
there's been a few this year where there's been a lot of activity, and I think that you're gonna get to the end of the year. There's gonna be a couple guys that are making a difference, and you're like, wow, this dude got added on the waivers back in week 4, week 5,
yep,
right in that range. Like
yep.
hell, this week you had guys like Keenan Allen and Mark Andrews and relevant dudes that are out on the waiver wire that are just now kind of finding their footing, I guess, so to speak.
Um, Keenan Allen is still on the waiver wire as we speak.
Is it really? Wow.
Yeah, so there are only three teams in the league who haven't made double digit moves. Usually there are teams that are like just they sit back and they enjoy their roster, and it's like, oh, they only have two moves through, well, not two, but I mean 5 6 moves through 6 weeks. Like there's only a couple of those teams this year, so yeah, a lot of movement on the waiver wire, a lot of money being thrown around. I remember in the beginning of the season there were a couple teams. I think it was like Walker and Joey just had an abundance of money. Not the case anymore. They both still have the most, but it's at 1,300, so they're kind of right there with everybody else. Um, yeah, there's just been
This
a
week,
lot of money thrown around.
I did want to bring this up on the pod.
Wait, you sound like you're underwater.
One, hold on. I'm in
Now
the
you're
parking
lagging,
garage still.
dude. Get out of the parking garage.
I'm trying. I gotta park, man.
All right, well then keep talking.
Hold on.
I'm gonna crack a beer while you're doing it. Ah, all right. Well,
Okay.
While Parker's in the parking garage, I can see him, so I'm gonna wait until he gets into his fucking apartment. Um,
I'm on like the third bottom floor of the parking garage. It's gonna take a second.
yeah, this dude is quite literally underground. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna talk about some of the matchups this week.
Are we able to
Um,
cut this portion out of the pod?
no, dude, we don't cut anything.
Okay.
Um, so I am playing against Ronnie's troops. Two 4-2 teams going at it. I'm probably the most fraudulent 4-2 team you'll ever see, but we have made some good managerial decisions to get to this point. Um, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I've had two games this season where I've won by, I think, I've won by 2 yards twice. Um, yeah, I beat Aaron 77 point. No, sorry, that wasn't the one. It was I beat Joey 75.9 to 75.8, and I beat Colin 76.2 to 76. So 3 yards, and this is why we do decimal, baby. Um, Last week we had a good week. We kind of put it towards the gentlemen who were on a very heavy bye week. So we just took care of business there. But yeah, I do feel like I'm probably due for some regression. David Montgomery can't score a touchdown every single week. So we got Finkles and Marlboro. That's a big game, honestly. If Joey wins this game, he becomes 1 game back of Tyler.
Yep.
That's a big one. We got Grant versus Walker. 2-4 Grant, 3-3 Walker. Yeah, Walker. He was hot out of the gates. Stumbled a little bit in the last few weeks. Very dependent on the Eagles, and the Eagles have been pretty bad lately. I'm sure they'll
People
get
were
right.
high on Walker early on.
I mean, he's projected 101 this week. It's like he still has a nice roster.
Yeah.
It's a good roster, and Ayuk has not really found his form at all. I do expect that to change eventually. I think missing training camp is kind of playing a role there, so he'll probably, or he just won't. I think a lot of times when players miss training camp, they just don't come into the season right, and it's just a bad year, which is certainly possible. But he'll have his weeks. And Godwin has been unreal, and that's definitely one of the best picks of the draft. Like he picked him in the 8th round. He took Godwin in the 8th round.
He has two of the best picks in the draft, honestly. Kamara and
Kamara and Godwin. Yeah, yeah, I agree. And he was like fucking in Mexico drafting. Shout out to Walker.
yeah.
Sitting by the pool. All right, then we got another big one. The Gentlemen and Booze and Cruise, 2-4-2 teams. Gentlemen are back full strength after having a lot of bye weeks last week. And yeah, I think Roppel gets James Cook back this week. So we'll see. I mean, I'll throw this on the podcast. Me and Colin were on the College Football Dynasty. It was like, and I think Grant's probably going to hate me for this, but it was like, I don't know, 750, right? And the Jets are playing, or the Bills are playing the Jets. So I'm like, oh, Colin knows that James Cook is out. I'm like, so who'd you put in for James Cook? And he's like, what? I'm like, James Cook is out. Yeah. And he's like, wait, what? He didn't know. He didn't know. And Ray Davis was still on the waiver. And I was like, if I was Grant, like I'm picking up Ray Davis. Like, because all Colin had was the Jets defense. And let me look back. He won by 13, but Ray Davis put up 15. Yeah. If Grant would have picked up Ray Davis, he would have won. Yeah, that's tough. And so I sorry, Grant, but also you had a chance. So yeah, that's a big game. 2-4-2 teams. We'll see what happens there. I probably got the Gentlemen there. Then you got Byron versus Young Ho Aaron. 2-4 teams. I love the name change. Young Ho has been huge for Aaron all year.
I like the all lowercase. It's a
I do
nice
too.
touch.
I do
like
too.
that.
It's a nice touch. He's starting Drake May this week. Honestly, it's a pretty rough looking starting roster this week for Aaron. He's starting Christian Watson, Jordan Addison, and Keon Coleman as his receivers because CeeDee Lamb and DJ Moore are out. He is deciding this is something. He is deciding to start Drake May over Patrick Mahomes at the moment. I don't really give a fuck about the matchups. That just seems like a mistake. And then we got the Nashville Predators against the 6-0 New Wave Dylan Seeger squad. Can he beat them? I don't know. Dylan's projected 108, and that typically results in a lot of points. I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, just making sure. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm just rolling through these games real quick.
No, I just literally wasn't there. I got interrupted by gravity and concrete.
Cool. Dylan's finally healthy. Achane and Neighbors are back in the lineup, and for him to win games without those two in the lineup, that's pretty impressive. So Achane should be back. Or not back. He didn't miss. Did he miss a game? No, he just had a bye week. But Neighbors has been out for a minute, and yeah, he's pretty fucking good at football, and I like watching him play
They said it
football.
did go out in the first quarter of the last game.
Okay, that's what it was. So yeah, yeah, you're right. That offense just sucks. So we'll see. I mean, they're probably just going to feed him. So yeah, those are the games this week, and we're gonna go back to P here for more headlines. I think. What you got?
Oh no, no. No more headlines. Just a few points. I was trying to say when
You're still underwater, dude.
still underwater.
Yeah, you got your hand on the mic or something?
No hands on the mic.
Oh yeah, no hands on the mic. It just magically changed after you just did that.
Oh man, that's my fault. It's
Yeah, all right.
possible.
It's
It's been a
possible.
long day. I apologize.
It's
I
likely.
apologize.
It's okay. All right, what's up?
It's certainly possible. I was gonna say we were talking about the waiver wire.
Yeah.
Dylan's 6-0, but this man spends more money on defense than anyone I've ever seen. If you go back week to week, he's streaming defenses at like $200 a week.
Yeah,
It's a
200's
crazy.
200's pricey. I'll go up to like 75 to 100 if I think they're really going to make like if I have bye weeks and I'm like I need an impact defense, I'll spend 100 if I think it's the right matchup.
Yeah, you spent 100 this week against the Levis, which is probably a good investment.
I did. I didn't spend shit.
Dylan did. I'm saying
Oh,
Dylan consistently is blowing stacks on defense, like
yeah.
hundreds.
Yeah, I wish there was a way to see exactly like every team's pickups and how much
Mhm.
they've spent. I don't think you can. You can just go like week to week and you can figure it out that way. But yeah, no, it's been a really active waiver wire. Um, here I'm gonna go through and see who the most amount of money has been spent on. There was 662 by Borman for Isaiah Likely, who
Oh,
is now
okay.
on waivers.
Oh,
401 for Braylon Allen by the troops. 379 for Cole Komet.
Komet's tight end too.
That's great. And he's only scored in double digits twice. He's had 4 games with less than 6 points. He's just had 2 nice games. I mean, tight ends this year have been tough. $751 on Xavier Worthy by the Denver Dogs, who
Oh
I
my
believe is probably
God.
now on. No, he's still on the team. Okay.
That's one. That's enough
Um,
for you to keep him on there for your own.
right. 250 on Jalen Tolbert. Fine with that. Um,
I'll put
300 by the gentleman. I wanted to talk about this. Um, Parker, you tried. You tried. So I was on a phone call with Parker about how I wanted to drop Jerome Ford. I was like, Chubb's coming back. He's good, but the Browns offense is just terrible. Um, I want to pick up.
Initially, you started this conversation as saying, I'm not going to drop Jerome Ford, just for the
Right,
record. That's how we
right.
started the conversation of,
Yeah,
I might drop this guy. Or actually, you said, I want to trade 2 guys for 1 guy
yeah,
so that I don't have to, like, just drop Jerome Ford. You
right.
didn't want to drop him initially. In the conversation, by the end, obviously, you talked yourself into dropping Jerome Ford.
Correct. I talked myself into dropping Jerome Ford, and who was subsequently picked up for $300 by the gentleman and started. He tweaked his hamstring in the first quarter and scored 1.4 points. So that actually really paid off because we played against the gentleman. And I didn't know until like 1 o'clock on Sunday. I was like, let me just double check who they're starting. And I was like, Jerome Ford. And I saw they spent $300 on him. I was like, oh man.
With
He
Nick
better.
Chubb coming back next week,
Yeah. I don't know if they do that.
did not. When
Yeah,
I got
I
the
would hope so.
notification that Devin Singletary was out, and I went to the waiver wire, and like 4 dudes had to be claimed on waivers because they all had just been cycled through the bench of the Kentucky Gentleman. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. four
So I
hundred
ended
and
up starting
fifty
2 Ravens
dollars.
running backs.
Yes, yes. $450 on Jacoby Myers from Dylan. That's quite a hefty amount. Um, I'm trying to look for anything else. I think that's about it. But
Carson Steele
yeah,
had a pretty big. Byron put a pretty big number in on Carson Steele.
yeah. After what was that week? That was like week three, maybe. Yeah, Carson Steele got added for 328.
And if you look
Um,
at it, the worst part of this, I've wanted to bring this up. Byron had a claim in for Kareem Hunt that week for more money, but
I
he
see
had
that
him get
203.
somebody else
Yeah,
higher on his priority list and got that guy. So I got Kareem Hunt
actually,
for $30.
it says the reason for that one was the maximum roster size would be exceeded.
Oh, what?
So I
Yeah,
don't
no,
know.
that's because he had two claims in, and basically both guys were going to be dropped for the same person, but the person higher on the list he
Yeah,
did get, and so
yeah,
therefore he
got
didn't
it,
have anyone to drop for Kareem.
got it. And
So
yeah,
I backed
honestly,
my way.
you got Kareem Hunt for $26.
Yes,
That's
steal.
that's one of the best pickups of the year for sure. Yeah. Um, I just I
How
was like,
much
if we're
was
gonna
Carson
if we're
Steele? You
gonna
said.
the 304 or something like that.
Okay.
I did want to if we were gonna do a podcast, I was like, I want to talk about uh the state I was in for the draft and how it unfolded. Um, I was obviously in a pretty rough place for the draft, and I went Tyreek Hill, who, he doesn't suck, but the team sucks. Puka, who got hurt. Marvin Harrison, who is fine, but he's concussed now. Trey McBride, who's actually been pretty solid. I think he's top five tight end. Round five through like eight, and I mean, I started hammering picks. I got David Montgomery in the fifth. I got Rashee Rice in the sixth, who was on track to be a top five wide receiver. I got Tony Pollard in the seventh, Chase Brown in the eighth. I got Jamison Williams in the 10th. I'm very happy with the way I finished that draft. When a lot of people, it starts to get a little dicey around there. I feel like I hammered those picks, and I just wanted to give myself some credit there.
Well, you deserve it on some of those. I can attest to the fact that you were not in great shape. You slept in my bed that night before, I believe.
You did,
I
you did,
was
you did, you did too.
no, not that night.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
the next two.
Oh,
But anyways,
okay.
the only draft commentary I have, and I've been holding on to this one for a minute. I think I might have brought it up to you. When I made my first pick, I went up to the board and I drafted the king, and we had
Mm.
that Zoom up there, and I heard a certain somebody for
Call him
Finkel
out.
Borman said that's such a horrible pick. That's an awful pick. That man's going to be the number one running back by a lot this year if he stays healthy. By a lot. That man is a fucking tank. Do
Mm-hmm.
not ever doubt the king. The king still got it. You pair him with a legend like Lamar Jackson from the University of Louisville.
Mm.
Are you kidding me? Best running back in the league. Do not ever doubt the king. Ever.
Qu
RB1.
question for a
That's
personal question for
fucking
you.
tank.
Quite personal question for you. I know that the Ravens have always been like your number two favorite team because of Lamar. Have they overtaken the Titans this year as your number one favorite team?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at
Okay.
all. I
Okay.
love the Titans. It's not like an NBA type of deal where you I'm like kind of fake. I care about a certain team in the NBA, but like I'm a
Yeah.
Titans fan.
Yeah, I got
But
you.
the Titans fucking suck. So I might as well cheer for somebody.
Yeah.
And my favorite college player of all time is handing the ball off to my favorite NFL player of all time.
Pretty
Maybe
cool.
I really like Chris Johnson was pretty dope.
Yeah.
But either way,
Yeah.
one or two. It's
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. It's cool to
Yeah.
see. And they're both fucking elite.
Very, very good at football. Okay. What else do you want to hit on? We have 4 more minutes on the Zoom. We can add another one, but I mean we're hitting on a lot of things right now.
Yeah, no, I think we're covering it.
I don't want to
It's
make it too long.
right. No, I think it's set up for a very interesting end of the year. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't think that Joey is your typical 0-6 team by any stretch. Like I
no,
wouldn't want to play that. Like I don't feel like I'm guaranteed gonna beat that team if I'm playing them at the end of the year. I don't know. We'll see. There's been a lot of roster moves to be made. I still think that there's a chance that there's more to be had out there. Like you
hmm
said, Keenan Allen's a guy that's out there. There's even more. Like Cortland Sutton got dropped and added back on for a pretty good amount of money, I believe, this week
it's
actually.
like 250, 250. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, it's a good player. Who dropped him?
I don't
I
know.
think
Let
Joey
me.
did. I
Did
think
Joey
Joey
drop him and pick him back up to two? I think Joey picked him back up. Yeah, he
for
did.
two. Did Joey drop him?
No, Grant did.
Gotcha. That would
Grant
have been a
drafted him
very
in the eighth
un-Joey
round.
move.
Yeah, dropped him. Joey just picked him up for 250. Um, yeah. So no, I think there's a lot of we're gonna know a lot about the playoffs here, and honestly, it could be next week, definitely in 2 weeks. But like if Joey rattles off 2 wins and a couple of these 2-4 teams slip, like he's right back in the thick of it. Um,
Who do you think
yeah,
right now? Because I know we're cutting it on time. Who's the
yeah.
best team to beat?
I think it's probably the gentleman,
I would agree.
especially with Amari Cooper going to Buffalo. I mean, Nico Collins is going to be back soon. He's going to be able to run out like Amon Ra, or they're going to be able to run out Amon Ra, Nico, Amari Cooper, or Jaden Reed. Kyron Williams is fucking projected 19.6 points this week.
It's insane. That
What?
that's where did he get drafted? Second round,
Yeah, 14th
second pick of
overall.
the second round.
I
Yeah,
I almost
I'm
took
not
him
gonna
at
lie.
5. I almost took him at 5.
Hand up, hand on the Bible. I thought that that was a good thing for me that they were picking right next to me. There's two scenarios in both the first and the second turn that they took a guy that I should have taken. They took Kyron, one pick after me in the first, or I guess in the second, and then they took Lamar in the fourth. I wish I had both of those guys.
They drafted
Instead, I
well.
got
They've been moving
Garrett
players
and
well.
Waddle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They've done a really good job
Dolphins,
this year.
RIP to the Dolphins.
I mean, dude, they got Jaden Reed in the 10th round.
Yeah, that's a great pick.
They got Brock
I
Bowers in
will
the
say the
eighth
Packers just
round.
have
Like,
too many fucking receivers. The Packers have like five young receivers, and I don't know what it was hard to figure out what to do with all that.
yeah, I agree. They drafted Chuba in the 11th round, who is currently RB7. So they've had a
Jonathan
really
Brooks
good.
is coming, brother. Jonathan
Yeah,
Brooks'
I
window
agree.
just got opened up. Don't you
I
worry.
agree. I agree. All right. So yeah, it's a lot coming down to it. We'll make another one of these here soon, but yeah, just wanted to jump on here real quick and talk some fantasy. Um, yeah, best of luck to everybody. Danny Doo Water, Nashville Predators. We out.
Peace.
Peace.